In this In the Kitchen episode of the Dr. Clay Show, I'm going to show you how to make your own coffee. I don't mean growing the coffee beans, but I'm talking about grinding your own coffee, which is my new habit. And I'm going to tell you about my future plans for the Dr. Clay Show. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to the Dr. Clay Show. We are in my kitchen, and what I'm going to do is show you how to make your own coffee, how to grind your own coffee beans and make your own coffee fresh. Because I find that, man, it tastes good. It tastes a lot better, I think, than already made coffee, already ground, it's fresh. If anything else, it's kind of fun to do. It kind of makes you feel like a do-it-yourselfer, So, pardon me while I start to do that. And I'm going to get out. Now, I know for those of you who are culinarily cosmopolitan, you're probably laughing, making fun of the fact that I'm teaching people how to make their own coffee, grind their own coffee beans. But honestly, I didn't know until a couple of months ago. I know that's kind of silly. There's a difference between being an expert in nutrition and being an expert in preparing that food. Let me show you how to boil water. This is for you bachelor guys that are even worse off than I am and don't know how to boil water. You put water in the teapot and you turn that on. Okay, let me get serious for a second. Let me get out the coffee grinder. You're going to need one of these things right here. This one is made by Mr. Coffee. Sounds good. Well, let me back up for a second and tell you about the future of the Dr. Clay Show. So my plans for the show. And in case you're thinking, man, it seems like the show is just not as high quality as it usually is. You would be right. The quality of the lighting, the editing, and all that, let me just go ahead and tell you, it's going down the tubes. But guess what? There's always a trade-off, right? We've got an inverse proportion and an inverse ratio between the quality and the quantity. So here's the deal. I'm being too picky with the show. In fact, I have probably 50 episodes laying around on my computer. Actually, lying would be more correct. But I realized, and I've been pondering the fact for a year, pondering the idea rather of doing a show every day. One of my heroes in that regard is Gary Vaynerchuk of Wine Library TV. A cool guy, it's just a neat show. And for years, I wanted to do the show daily, but the problem is when you're a bit of a perfectionist like I can be, at least with certain facets of my life, it becomes hard for me sometimes to publish an episode because it's not perfect, and I know I can do better, and I should do a retake. I realize I'm really overthinking this, and that people that watch this show, you're not watching it because of its production value. You're watching it because of my charming personality. Okay, no, it's probably not that either, but it's because you're getting some good information, and maybe you're getting entertained a little bit, probably not that much. So here's my plan. My plan is to loosen up a little bit in terms of me worrying about that the quality is not just perfect, but you're going to get more shows, and I'm going to try. No, I don't like that word try. It is my intention to work towards, via slow, steady improvements, more steady than slow, I hope, work toward doing this show daily, 5 days a week, that is. I need off on Saturday and Sunday. Let's get on with this low quality show. Now, what I do, so you've got your coffee grinder here, and there you go. You can see it right there, and it's nothing fancy. You take this off, put your beans in the top. This brand of coffee is it's a San Francisco Bay, which I couldn't resist. I love San Francisco. I live close by. I mean, who doesn't like the Golden Gate Bridge? Although I think that's the Bay Bridge on there. Anyway, this is not organic, by the way. That's a topic that I've yet to study. I'm not afraid to admit what I don't know. I've heard before, kind of in passing, that it's important to eat organic or drink organic coffee. But that's something that I haven't researched, and I can't really comment on that. So this is not organic coffee, but I will later come back and we'll talk about, I'll let you know what I find out regarding the importance of organic coffee versus regular coffee. And by the way, I could use some help. I do this show myself, and that's kind of my reluctancy in committing to doing it every day, because it's rather time consuming. I could use you, if you like, as a research assistant. So for example, regarding the importance of organic coffee or the unimportance of it, if you happen to have some good solid information on it, send me a link to it. Send me the study, or send me a good resource. We don't want just some blog post or something. We want solid info, in other words. These are the whole coffee beans, and I've got the holiday blend because I'm in the holiday season. I'm in the holiday mood. And you just pour these in there. I kind of eyeball it and I fill it up to the pretty much the maximum line there. It's got a line that says max fill. So you fill that up, put your coffee beans, put them back in the freezer. That helps keep them fresh. I wondered where the clip that goes on the coffee, I wondered where it was. Well, I just noticed that it is stuck to the inside of the freezer. That's neat. I didn't realize that was metallic back there. So I told you the show was going downhill. We've got this thing filled up here, and just screw the lid on top. Make sure it's locked, because that stuff will fly everywhere. Plug it in, plug it in. You set the number of cups. I'm going to set it on 4 and set it on coarse grind. And what this does is basically, you can use it manually, of course, but it's an automated machine that will grind the coffee beans. It will grind them accordingly. It will grind them for the appropriate length of time based on if you want it coarse or fine, and based on how much you put in there. So from there, you're going to get one of these things right here. And to be honest, I forget what this thing is called. Coffee press, I believe. We'll go with that. All right, so you got the coffee press here, and with this particular coffee grinder, you just simply, once you got it set, you just mash it and pull it down until it's done. And voila, it's done. So you take that, and notice this thing will screw off like so, and then take that and put it in, I keep wanting to call this a carafe. Put it in your coffee press, and you want to be neat in the kitchen and put things up as you go. Let me give you a teaser, a sneak peek of what I'm going to talk about. Nectress, which is a kind of a new sweetener on the block. We'll talk about it soon. In fact, I think I'll have some in my coffee today. Obviously, I'm not in dieting mode. Therefore, since I'm not, not really strict on my diet right now, I'm going to go with a little half and half, but it is fat-free half and half. It's 11/11. Make a wish if you're into that kind of stuff. Speaking of that, yesterday was 12/12/12. That was pretty cool. I really wanted to do something big on that day, but I didn't. I worked. I could continue to chat here and talk your ear off, but we'll say, if we're going to do this episode every day, you're going to get tired of me pretty quick. So we'll pause here and we'll come back when the water is boiling. For you guys who are more unskilled in the kitchen than I am, when it does this, it's ready. Because I use so many coffee beans, I make a full container full. Fill it up to the brim. You don't want to use something metallic to stir it with, because then it may end up tasting metallic. I get the wooden end of the little spatula thing that I do my eggs with. Get the wooden end, stir it up, top it off a little bit. Here's the exciting part. You're ready for the climax. And you get this, your little coffee press here. It's got a piece that's got like a fine mesh, wire mesh thing on it, a little filter sort of thing. Put it right there, and then make sure that you put the side with the slits on it toward the spout. Sounds silly, but I've done it the other way, and it makes a mess when you try to pour it out. And then you just push it down nice and slow. Maybe you want to take your little index finger. So you're not tempted to, release your inner Incredible Hulk on this thing. So you just push that down nice and slow. What that's doing is obviously it's pushing the grinds down to the bottom, and you're left with Black Gold Texas tea, aka coffee. Oh, I kind of feel like Rachel Ray. What I do is I fill mine up about halfway, and then I add a little half and half. Add my sweetener of choice, which I'm gonna go with the Nectress today. I've been on this kick lately where even though the temp's getting cold, it's cold here today in Northern California, NorCal as we call it. Man, it's cold, but because I'm blessed to have heat and electricity, got it nice and warm inside. Well, I'm working on a new article, by the way, working on a new T Nation article on ways, I don't know how many ways yet, depends on how it pans out, but ways to improve your insulin sensitivity. I'm going to put this in the freezer for a few minutes, probably about 10 or 15 minutes, and then I add ice to it. I fill the rest up with ice, and man, that is, like I said, that's liquid gold right there. Those trimethylxanthines that get in your bloodstream, and whew, you're off. All right, my friend, that's going to do it for this episode of the Dr. Clay Show. Hope you enjoyed learning how to make your own coffee, and I look forward to presenting you with more, albeit lower quality, episodes of the Dr. Clay Show. Till next time.